Hello guys, and welcome to a new video. In today's video I want to kind of finish off the whole au pair series with another video, and today's video I want to talk about how I became an au pair in China. What was the process, what I had to go through to become an au pair in China, and what I had to do in order to become an au pair, the application process, and how I found out about this program. Now firstly, I just want to mention the company's name. So I went through an agency, and I always recommend going through an agency just because you get the whole security and you're not just going into a new country and trying to look for a job on the spot. Especially a country like China where you have to get visa and correct visa, and then after, especially coming in, like I had to leave after 3 months. In order for things to run smoothly, I do recommend going through an agency. Now of course, when I was applying through the agency, I did have my doubts. I was like, doubts that this is a legit company, what happens if I get conned? And they do have reward, like after 3 months they help you pay to refresh your visa, and then after 6 months they pay for your ticket back home. And I was just thinking, what happened, and like completion bonus after 3 months and 6 months, and I was just thinking, what happens if everything goes wrong and nothing goes right and I get conned? And of course I just had all these different things running through my mind before arriving in China, but thankfully it went smoothly and everything went well. Of course it didn't go smoothly with the first family, and there was a bit of hiccups in the first family, but all in all I was really happy with the agency and I really do recommend them. So you can look them up on Facebook, and they are called Love Au Pair Agency. I'll put all the links below to the agency and everything if you're considering going to China to become an au pair like I did. Now in order to be part of this program, this particular program in China, you do need to have a high fluency in English. So they do prefer people from English speaking countries, so Australia, America, England, but they do accept other au pairs from other countries that English is not their first language, just as long as you can prove that you're proficient. Because I did meet some other au pairs from Italy, Czech Republic, Germany, countries like that. So they do accept other au pairs from other countries just as long as you have a proficiency in English. But they do prefer, from my experience, they do prefer people from native English speaking country. So anyway, firstly I want to just give you some background information. Now I have joined quite a few au pair, Australian au pair pages, and like Perth au pair nannies, those kind of pages on Facebook, because I wanted to become an au pair in Australia. So I joined those pages a few years ago, and that is how I found out about this company. So I was just browsing Facebook one day and it came up with this like advert, and it said, do you want to become an au pair in China, blah blah blah, apply here, contact us, Love Au Pair agency. So my whole process kind of started back in July last year. So I was looking on Facebook, and I saw an ad on the Aussie au pair page. Looked up au pair like on Facebook, and it came up with a different company, and then I think I messaged both the companies, and the first company was like, oh yes, I think I sent them a message, and they're like, can you send us an email and the email address, and then they contacted me via email address, and then I went back and looked on the advert and it said Love Au Pair. So I messaged the company on Facebook, and then one of the LCC's, local care coordinator, messaged me, and then that's when she like asked me some information, and she said, can I call you and we'll discuss it. So this was Monday the 26th of July. She was supposed to call me, but she forgot, and I think I was at someone's house and I rushed back and she forgot to call me. So then she actually called me a few days later on the 7th of August. So then I filled in my application form on Monday the 3rd of September, And Wednesday the 5th of September they said I got a family that was interested in me, but I kind of rejected them because they had like young kids and I just didn't feel comfortable around young kids. But then the agency was like, how about we just try? We tried to talk to them. So one thing I had to download on my phone is WeChat, because that's the main social media chat thing in China. If you don't have a VPN, you need WeChat, and all locals use WeChat and they use it to pay for things and they just use it for everything. So if you are considering going to China, get WeChat because you're most likely 100% gonna need it. So I kind of like, after they sent me the first family, this was originally in Shenzhen. It was a family with a mum and a dad and like a 1.5-year-old kid, like really young anyway, and I didn't feel comfortable being around a younger kid, but I was like, you know, I got sent it on Wednesday, which was the 5th of September, and then the next day I was like, I kind of don't feel comfortable. But then the agency's like, how about we talk to them and then see how you feel. So I talked to them on the 15th of September. And then I was given around 3 days to decide if I wanted this family. So I was like, okay, after I finished chatting to the family, we cut off the three-way chat with the family, myself and the coordinator, and we just went to a talk where it was just me and my coordinator. And she said, how do you feel about this family? And I was like, yeah, I think I responded like, yeah, I think they're nice, you know, the host mum and everything's a bit nice. The kid is a bit younger than what I'm used to, but I think it will be okay. And then after that we were given like 3 days kind of to decide. The family was given 3 days to decide. However, about 5 days later they still hadn't decided, and I was like wondering what is going on, starting to think, is this company legit or what is going on? And then finally on the 27th they said I was given a new family, and they didn't tell me what happened to this first family I talked to. They never told me what happened till after I interviewed with the second family on the 27th of September. They told me the first family had actually decided they'd want to pull out of the program because they think the kid is too young to be part of it, and they wanted to wait till he was older. So on the 27th of September I was given my second family, and then we talked on the 3rd of September, and when I talked to them I never really got to meet the kids on the chat. All I talked to was their home teacher. I never got to talk to the host mum or the host family, anyone from the host family except the live-in home teacher. And I think I was just desperate I really wanted this, so I just said, yeah, I'll take it. And when they were talking to me they were also saying like, oh, we can't wait for you to come, because they really wanted me because my age, I'm a bit older than probably a lot of the average au pairs. I was 24 when I applied, and they liked that I could speak some Chinese, and they could tell that I was just a really caring person, so they kind of was really interested in me. So I kind of felt bad rejecting, so I said yes. So yeah, we talked on the 30th of September, and then 8th of October I was sent a confirmation letter from me, and I had to sign that I confirmed that I wanted to go with this family, because I agreed and they agreed. So on the 8th of October I signed the confirmation letter, and everything was good, because when you're matched with a host family sometimes it may take a while because you need to look at their availability and your availability. Like I wanted to start in January, some families may not, and for like at least 3 months, and some families may be suited to you but they may not want someone till later on. So if you're not flexible it may be a bit more difficult. Anyway, on the 9th of October they asked for a passport photo and also to start like all the background checks. And what I needed for this was a school graduation or enrollment letter. So if you're in high school, because the average age is from 18 up, to I think about 28. This, yeah, I'll insert the ages here, but you to order for the background checks required by the agency, you need a school graduation or enrollment letter. So if you graduated from university, I suppose you could just show them your certificate. If you're still in university, an enrollment letter, and this is totally free, so that's good because you just need to get a copy from your university. Health checks and police clearance. These do cost a bit of money, so that is another thing to be aware of. I'm not exactly sure how much it will cost. It does vary on what you need, and the police clearance and stuff, it does depend on your country. So 11th of October I applied for my federal police clearance. On 12th of October I was sent a confirmation letter that my application had gone through, and I booked a doctor's appointment. On the 15th of October I went and had a doctor's appointment and had a blood test and an x-ray, and by the 16th of October my police clearance was ready, so it was quite quick, and they just sent that to me out in the mail. On the 17th of October I found out that this family had signed up 3 months. So I sent my confirmation letter first, and then they sent me another thing to say that the family had agreed on 3 months. On the 18th of October I got my doctor results back and my police clearance arrived. And then on the 18th of October they sent me the agreement letter, and this was just to say that, you know, I agree everything, that I'll stay for 3 months and I'll agree to stay with this family. And then I signed that and I returned that to them on the 20th of October. On the 26th of October I received like flights and documentation for my visa application. So what they did is they sent me out like the host mom's ID, and then like a letter to say that, like an itinerary and like hotel, tentative like fake hotel bookings and flights, return flights, and all this was needed to apply for a visa, and it does depend on that. If you were just going, like my family went over to China, they just needed like the hotel and stuff, and then later when I went to apply for my visa at the embassy, they said I didn't need the flights or the hotel information, I just needed the host mom's ID and like the itinerary, because an invitation letter. So they sent me like an invitation letter, flights, hotel, host mom's ID, like an itinerary, and because I knew someone in China, I could just use the host mom's ID, invitation letter and itinerary to book my visa, to get my visa. But if you don't know anyone in China and you're just going there to visit, then you use your hotel and your flights. And then on the 29th of October they called me to discuss my visa and then like what I needed to do, and I filled in my visa application form. On the 1st of November I went to take my photos for my visa, and then 2nd of November I booked my visa, and 7th of November I submitted my visa. And after I submitted my visa, I think it took a few days to arrive. I then went back and picked it up, and the visa is valid for 6 months from the time of applying for it until May to use my visa. Now when I first initially applied for my visa and then it came back, I thought I had until May to leave China, but what it means is you have 6 months to use the visa. So pretty much after I got my visa, you know, I was just getting ready to go to China, booking my flights and stuff, and just keeping in contact with the agency until I actually arrived in China in January this year. So yeah, so that's pretty much the process I went through to become an au pair in China. It was fairly easy, it's just a bit tedious. The health checks did cost quite a bit, but I was able to get the x-ray and a few things bulk billed. And I didn't really have to have any injection. I just got a letter from my doctor saying I was healthy. And then the visa, that was probably the second largest expense. The most expensive thing was flights, of course. That was around 400 Australian dollars. And then, yeah, so that's pretty much the process I went through. All in all, I'm really happy with the company. I received everything I was promised. Like, after 3 months, they paid for my flight from Hangzhou to Macau, and then I made my way on the ferry over to Hong Kong, and they even paid for the taxi, because part of the agreement is you get your transportation to and from the airport, or to and from however you arrive to the host family's house. So when I arrived in China, my host family picked me up, and then when I left Hangzhou, the agency booked me a taxi, or Didi, which is like their Uber, and that was paid for. And then they paid for my flights to Macau, and I had to pay for my own train to Shenzhen from Hong Kong. But then they came and picked me up at the train station in Shenzhen, and then when I was leaving, I received my certificate and everything, and I received some money which was going towards my flight back home. Even though I went to Taiwan, they still gave me that money. And then I got $600 for my flights, for my program completion. So yeah, it was definitely a good experience all in all with the agency. Had no major issues, they were really responsive and everything. As I said, I was really skeptical at the beginning. Like, I was scared that what happens if I don't complete the program, because I would just hear these horror stories of people going overseas and things going wrong, like host family kicking them out, or the agency like doing things to them. And I was more worried about, like, I didn't care if I didn't get my program completion certificate. I was just scared that they might try and ask me for money because there was no program fee, and I just thought that was a bit strange. I was like, what happens if midway they ask me for money, or my host family kicks me out and I'm on the streets? But yeah, everything, I got everything, the free Chinese, everything promised I received. Free Chinese lessons, my program certificate, my program subsidy, return flight, all that was all paid for and all good. And I even had a farewell party, and all in all, I do recommend Love Au Pair Agency if you're thinking of going to China and au pair. I do recommend them. And yeah, so that is the process pretty much in a nutshell of what it was like for me to become an au pair in China. And if you do have any more questions, feel free to ask me in the comments below, or send me a message, or send me an email. And if you've ever been an au pair in China, or you've ever gone through a Love Au Pair agency as well, let me know, because I'm always interested in finding out what your experience is being an au pair, going through an agency, whether it was Love Au Pair or another agency in China. I do know of another agency in China, because my host dad, when he was interviewing for my second host dad, when he was interviewing for his next au pair, he interviewed 2 au pairs, one from the agency I was with, Love Au Pair, and one through another agency. Yeah, all in all, it was a good experience, no problems with the agency, and yeah, it was a good experience after all. And yeah, I think another major issue I was really worried about is, like, I wanted to do research about the agency first. So before I left, I looked on their website, I looked on their Facebook, and I tried to find some reviews, and there was mixed reviews, but that's always the case with agencies. You know, sometimes you get good reviews, sometimes you get bad reviews, and I kind of just went for it, and I'm glad I did, because in the end it was great. And another thing is, I really wanted to talk to the previous au pair from my first host family to find out more about them before I left Australia, but I never got a chance to. And you know, while I was in China, I kind of found out a few things along the way. So it was definitely a learning experience, and it definitely was a learning curve, and you can see that in my monthly update videos where I talk more about what happened to me in China. But yeah, I hope you guys find this video informative and you learned something, and if you are considering going to China, feel free to contact me and ask me more information about my process. And that's pretty much it. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching.